everybody. Welcome back to the MiscELENAeous podcast. I'm your host, Elena. It'd be weird if I wasn't. And this week we have Mama Eugenia in studio. Woo, woo, woo. The crowd does always go wild for Eugenia. And then, of course, producer Madelyn.
Ayo.
They love you. That's why they love me. But I'll take it.
Well, listen, y'all. Okay, I've been keeping a secret. Like a big secret.
It's been how many months now?
Like 4 months of secret keeping.
Ooh. I've also been keeping the secret.
And I don't keep secrets from the Misfits. That is not my MO. Something happens, I'm like, hey, listen to this, like while it's happening to me. I'm like, y'all ain't never gonna believe this shit. And I'm just live streaming whatever's like currently being done to me. So the fact that I've kept a secret, this big of a secret, for so long is so weird. And I don't know why I'm nervous, but I'm a little nervous. Okay, y'all. Do we have a drum roll anywhere by chance?
Yes, I got one. I can insert one right now.
Okay, drum roll, please. Y'all, I have a boyfriend. What? Not me. In a committed, happy relationship? Healthy? Non-toxic? Non-GMO? Vegan? Like gluten-free? Soy-free? Dairy-free relationship?
Man, sounds like my kind of relationship.
It is healthy. No added chemicals. I'm telling you. So, and here's the thing. We're going to pull back the curtain a little bit, but it's necessary, okay? So, if y'all remember, and if you don't, I'm about to remind you. On the very first episode back this season, Eugenia had an unhinged prediction for my future. And we're going to roll that beautiful beam footage back for you right now in case you don't remember verbatim what Eugenia said. Do you have any unhinged thoughts about 2024?
Well, I have one that's come to mind.
Okay. Can't wait to hear it.
And actually, it was before you mentioned yours full list. I kind of thought of it earlier, but
interesting.
I predict that you're going to have a boyfriend this year.
That is,
and I predict it'll be sooner than later.
Unhinged as hell.
I agree.
And it's very unhinged because here's the kid that says she ain't interested in no boyfriend or dating.
Unhinged, Mom.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to happen. I know where you might meet him.
Where?
The stock show in rodeo.
Okay, now that we have, gone over the receipts. Thank you.
Proved it.
Glad we kept them.
I'm so glad we kept the receipts. This is why you keep receipts. That's why my fucking purse is full of trash. Don't throw away receipts. So that was recorded on January 16th, okay? So that is when Eugenia put into the universe that I was going to have a boyfriend. And not only that, but soon.
I knew it. I just knew it. I don't know how I knew it.
Someone actually deadass asked you the other day, how did you know that she was going? Because, that is a bold, I've been so single for so long without actively pursuing a relationship. So for you to come in with, the audacity that I was going to enter a relationship, where did that come from?
Well, I'm going to circle back even a little further when you received your healing and we had gone through that very challenging time in your life together. We did it side by side.
Thank
you. Then the Lord healed you, clearly. And I saw your life turn around. God. Yeah, shout out God.
Muchos.
And I just saw your life turning around instantly. You were happy. You were glad to be alive. You were looking forward to the future. You even kind of mentioned that you thought, maybe having somebody in my life right now would be really good. And what hit me was now you were ready for somebody to be in your life. The 2 or 3 months prior to that, not so much. But at that point, I knew that you could receive and give love and enjoy a relationship again. So it's just settled in my heart.
Guys,
and it stayed there, and I kept it there, and I prayed for it.
It's either that or she was just literally praying for someone else to take care of me. She's like, if she goes through some shit again, I'm off duty. Tag, you're it. Get her a man. I don't want to do this again. I missed how many months of golf? So, like, I mean, does she want my happiness?
Of course.
Of course. Does she want to golf?
Of course. Yes,
yeah,
all
she
the
could have been in
things.
the PGA tournament this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like we could have been seeing her with a green jacket, but no, Elena had to be depressed. Fighting for my life over here. So sorry about your hobby. But
The game is finally coming back, I will say. It's taken it about 3 or 4 months, but I'm finally getting my game back.
I am so sorry about that.
Well, it's okay, but I'm happy.
Guess who doesn't golf now? My boyfriend. Guess who hasn't golfed in 3 to 4 months now? Zachary. That's his name.
Oh my goodness.
Yay.
Okay, so back to pulling the curtain back. We have a timeline. We have receipts. So that episode where Eugenia predicted that I would have a boyfriend was recorded on January 16th, folks, okay? My first date with Zach was on February 16th.
Whoa.
Just a month to the day later.
What's today?
I don't know.
OMG. It is June the 16th, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's June 14th.
Oh, damn.
Man.
Don't you hate that?
Oh, I didn't know what day it was.
I was about to freak. I'm
I know, that
sorry.
would have been
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, man. That would have been awesome.
But to pull the curtain back a little bit more, we normally try to, when having a podcast, like batch up some episodes, you know, record some stuff so we're ahead. We're not like scrambling for a new episode. But the week that I began dating Zach, we realized was Valentine's Day week. And so we were like, oh, shoot, should we like record a quick podcast that's more on theme for the, you know, the current holiday? And so we did like a quick turnaround, even though we had some episodes like ready to go live. And I recorded my Valentine's episode the day I matched with him. And if y'all don't remember, I'm going to remind you. The Valentine's Day episode was pretty much all Valentine's Day past dating mishaps.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole episode was pretty much, I was just on one. I was simply on one. I was like, couldn't be me. No, I ain't ever settling for that. No, you do that, divorce. You know, like
it's also been one of our highly rated episodes too.
Yeah, it was a really fun one. Like I loved that episode, and
It was good.
I think it allowed for us to have some fun and like, you know, joke sadly with the people who have had these mishaps in the past and laugh along with them, but also for me to kind of really speak boldly about like what I will not settle for, like what, and that's been a journey for me because I've been in a position in the past where I would have been like, you know, chasing, not attracting, and playing games and, you know, kind of turning a blind eye to a red flag and stuff like that. And I was like, this is what I expect. I'm going to stand and wait for you to get my door every time. So anyway, that day I get done recording and I had just recently downloaded Hinge, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before this. And I was just already fucking over it. I remember getting home that night, and even after all this stuff where my mom's ready for me to have a man, I'm putting myself out there. Actively, I did download Hinge at some point in the month prior. Maybe the day my mom said, you need a boyfriend. I'm like, well, I guess I have to contribute to
Do your part, please.
do my part, I guess. And I just was already over it. And I remember getting on Hinge that night to just, I'm like, I feel like I have like 19 pen pals. Like, this isn't fun. Like, I'm just over it. And I got on to kind of get off. But, you know, when you get on Hinge to get off Hinge, you are going to look around a little bit, like see who's messaged since I last was on. And like, let me just go ahead and use up my likes for today.
Yeah.
And then here was this man. Here was Zach. And I had some like standards when I was going through these Hinge profiles. Like, I'm decisive. I'm quick. You know, I'm like, I want you to be in your 30s. I want you to be Christian. I want you to live in my city. DFW is big. All right. I don't need you in fucking Richardson trying to pursue me. And I know if you don't live in this area, that doesn't mean anything to you. But like, don't tell me we live in the same city and I have to drive an hour to see you.
Or more.
Yeah.
Depending on traffic.
Like, in my mind, I'm like, is that really a deal breaker? No. But when I'm like, I want something, I'm like, this is what's better and ideal and convenient for me. So that's what I'm going for. And so I would just be swiping these men away. I'm like, you live in Burleson? Get out of here. Like, I don't need that. You know, you're 28, you're hot, but bye. Like, I had these standards. And I get to Zach's profile, and not only does he not live in my city, he does not live in the greater DFW Metroplex. He does not live in a suburb, a surrounding city. He does not live adjacent to DFW. This man lives almost 4 hours away. He is not in his 30s. He's got 5 pictures, 1 prompt. And it said that, like, he's not giving me much to work with. And I remember sitting there looking at his profile like,
Is he real? Is he AI generated?
Yeah, like, am I going to give you a swipe? Like, you're 29, not really.
Not quite 30.
You're not in my decade, okay? I don't love it. And his little prompt was something about, like, wanting to have a ranch one day to be able to escape the world. And I'm like, well, we do align there. Like,
Yeah, that spoke to you.
You are real cute. And where he's from is a place that, like, I've spent a lot of time in my life. And so I knew we would at least have something a little bit in common to chat about. So I give him a like. He messages me and immediately is like, so what are you doing on Hinge? Like, so what are your, basically he gives me what are your intentions with me? And I said, well, listen, man, I don't really know. I'm kind of just here. Like, I don't really like the idea of dating, but I understand that, like, if I'm going to want a partner one day, which I do, I'm going to have to, date. They don't just show up at your house. But everybody's been telling me this for years. Like, Elena, you're going to have to try. You're going to have to leave your bed. So I'm like, shit. At least this is a form of dating I could do from bed. No pants, high as hell. And ultimately, it did lead to me having to, like, leave the house. But anyway, I'm just being honest with him. I'm like, yeah, I'm like not really interested. I'm kind of scared of dating. I don't really like it. I don't like the idea of it, but I want to get married one day. I want to have a partner. And I'm like, well, what are you doing on here? And he's like, I'm looking for my wife. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Your wife, huh?
He knew what he wanted.
Your wife to raise your children. This is our third message. I was like, okay, cool. That, I guess, did not scare me off. And he asked for my number, like, pretty quickly. And I was like, listen, man, I just took, like, a Xanax and it's late. So, like, here's my number for later. You can have this for later. I appreciate your approach. You're pursuing me. So I'll give you my number. He didn't call. He said, you better take some uppers. Because I'm calling you right now. I was like, okay. Okay. So we got on the phone. We were on the phone for 2 hours, 3 hours, just laughing. Like, I'm like laying in bed and he's making me sit up to get my laughs out. And then could not have just been more intentional with me from the beginning. The next day, texted me all day, called me that night, called me throughout the day to check, hey, I'm driving, so I just wanted to chat for a second. I'm like, what? Who?
Was that the first time?
I don't use my phone for this.
Didn't he FaceTime you that second?
No, so then on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's what it was.
Also, okay, so here we go.
2 days later.
The day after we talk on the phone, match, meet, whatever, is Tuesday. And that is when my Valentine's Day Mishap podcast comes out. And so, of course, we go over like our jobs. He has one, I have one. And so the next day, he's like at work and decides to give the podcast a listen. And that's just something that's interesting about being in my position in a dating relationship, because you have just all the access to me in the world. You got a question about me? Google it. You wondering about this? Google it. I have to ask you or like find out in just casual conversation anything about you. And, you can just dive right on into all my thoughts, beliefs, and, everything honestly, and maybe this is the beautiful thing about it, that I just laid out a whole entire podcast about what I expect in a relationship, matched with the guy. He listens to it the next day, and here we are.
Hey, yeah.
It works.
That was informative. So if you're struggling to date, launch a podcast, tell the world what you want, and just send that episode out on a dating app. Airdrop that shit in a restaurant. Just send that episode out.
That's amazing.
And just see what you can get, But there was a story on there that we talked about, I guess, that led you to put in the description of the episode something about like how to trap a guy in 2 dates or 2 days or something. And it was because of some anecdote or mishap or some story that was told on that episode. And he starts he's like, is this like a social experiment? I thought you were really cool. And now I'm just like offended that you're like using me to like create content for your podcast. And I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Because like I knew that what I had recorded in the episode, I remembered that. It was just the next day.
So I almost ruined things is what you're saying.
You didn't know what the caption
it's like,
was.
had you, once you listen to the episode and you hear all the stories, then that little, teaser moment in the description would make sense. And to anybody else, that is like a grab, it's a little, what? But he just fully thought for like 24 plus hours that I was just actively using him as a social experiment and to try to get content for my podcast.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
I don't think I knew that part.
Anyway, so I finally talk him down from that worry, and the next day is Valentine's Day, and so he asked me on a FaceTime date. Cute. So it's our first time to like see each other, and we're on FaceTime for 5 hours. 5 hours. And before we get off the phone to go to bed in the middle of the night, he goes, y'all.
Sit down, everybody.
He goes, can I pray for us before bed?
Oh.
What? Yeah. And will you marry me right after that? I dead ass. The second that man did that, I was like, that's my husband. Mm-hmm. And I knew like whenever we first started talking and like that there was really easy connection and chemistry and like he liked who I was as a person. Like I didn't feel any need to change. And, you want to when you're dating someone to put your best foot forward. And but I think that's the struggle in dating is sometimes people put too much of a fake foot forward. Yeah. And then you can't maintain that. So I'm like, here, I'll show you my good qualities, but let me toss in some crazy too at the beginning so you know what you're getting yourself into. It's only fair. And
you're thoughtful, honey.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't hear that enough.
All sides.
Yeah.
I did that with my relationship. I was just like, I'm fine. And then I had like kind of like mental stuff going on and was crying.
Not fine.
And he stuck around and has been the perfect person to help me through that. And then now it's just like getting better and better every day. So
they can weather the storm.
I saw
probably a keeper.
I saw a meme the other day that was like, TBH third base is just you watching me have a panic attack. I was like,
solid.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's a level of intimacy that is earned.
Yeah.
But yeah, he sat there and he prayed over us, prayed for each of our families. It's not like he was like praying for our relationship, right? Like it was our third kind of time talking in depth, but like prayed over us and prayed for us, prayed for me, prayed, and I'm like, okay, so not only is this man like a Christian, but I think what I see, and this is just my experience, so I could be, my little circle is not everybody's circle, right? What I've been exposed to. But like there are a lot of good men that are good Christian men that have that foundation and that belief,
right,
but that are not
bold
spiritual leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That like, yeah, sure, we agree on the same things. We have this same foundation, the same faith. We were raised the same way. Essentially, that's a lot of what it can be boiled down to. So you were born in that family. So then this was the culture that you were around, and this was the belief system that you now, hold true to yourself. So the fact that he's a spiritual leader and is like wants that to be an important foundation and like something that we pursue God together and grow closer to him together, and that has been consistent. The next night, talk on the phone. Okay, it's time to pray before bed. I'm like, you are cute. You are cute. Now here's where things get cuter. I was leaving for Paris that Saturday. So we match on a Monday. I'm on a flight to Europe. Bye.
Man, what a whirlwind.
Right? Your life can really change in a day, okay?
In a minute.
Mm-hmm. And so he's like I said, he lives not here, but he comes here for work. And he was wanting to move here. His intention was to be in DFW, Fort Worth specifically.
Prior to meeting you.
Prior to meeting me. Yeah. So I think that's also why he had like even had his location in Fort Worth. So he's like, well, I'm really excited to meet you next week when I come in for work. Like, I'd love to take you to dinner. And I was like, I would love that too. It's just that I'm going to be in Paris. And he's like, no, what? Like, so disappointed. What does this man do? He drives to Fort Worth, almost 4 hours, to take me on our first date on Friday night, the night before I leave for Paris for 10 days, because he didn't want to wait to meet me. And that's on, if he fucking wants to, he fucking will.
Absolutely.
That man wanted to meet me. If he wants to do it, he will do it. Stop making excuses for men doing the bare minimum.
Yep.
Like, he told me he wanted to date me. What did he do? Dated me. He drove 4 hours to take me on a date, showed up with cookies, 15 minutes early. Took me to Joe T's. Our first kiss was at Joe T's. Like, what?
That's the most Fort Worth
That's
thing.
the most Elena Davies Fort Worth fucking thing in the world. I couldn't have been happier. And he, then I was in Paris for 10 days. We talked every day. He called me anytime we're giant time difference. So he's like up in the middle of the night if that's when I was able to talk. And he just kept saying, I remember like before that time, he was like, I have to come take you out because you're going to go to Paris and you're going to meet Jacques and you're going to forget about me, Zach. And I'm like, no. So then what does this man do? He drives 4 hours to pick me up from the airport. Why? Because that's what boyfriends do. And he's dating me with the intention to be my boyfriend. Picks me up from the airport, comes to my house, watches me unpack, waits while I shower, and then sits next to me while I nap for 6 hours. And then he goes home. What? If he fucking wants to, he will.
Yes.
Oh, my
He
gosh.
will. They will do it.
They will. Like 100%.
What? Raise your standards, ladies.
Yeah.
Have a standard. If they're not meeting it and matching it and pursuing it and being intentional, what are you doing? You're wasting your own time.
That's the biggest lesson I think I've learned within dating is like you think like a lot of times people, they start out really good initially. Like you'll be like, oh, wow, this person's putting in effort. And then it just drops by the wayside. And then you feel like you have to tell them what to do or you feel like you have to do. If someone wants to do it, you'll never have to ask.
You won't have to ask.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Solid truth.
And then we had a long distance relationship because I decided to start dating a man who lived 4 hours away. But let me tell you this, God is a waymaker because he continued to pursue me and date me relentlessly and beautifully, respectfully, did everything right. And he asked me to be his girlfriend pretty much every time I saw him until I said yes. And within a week of us being official, which was March 7th, okay, that's the date, guys. If you want to get us anything next year, that's the date. Within a week of us being officially boyfriend and girlfriend, he had a better job offer in Fort Worth.
They reached out to him.
Yeah, they poached him.
From his company.
They're like, you're great. Why don't you come work here in this city with more resources,
Bigger company,
better pay? And I'm like, God is a waymaker. So not only do I have a boyfriend, he lives with me. When you know, guys. I'm like, I've never been more like at peace and felt more loved and safe and supported. I've gained 20 pounds in 4 months because, and this sounds a little crazy, but hear me out. My body works.
Yeah.
It's like there is science behind it because I looked it up. Like me feeling safe and secure and loved and happy. It's like I'm sleeping better. I'm like pooping more regularly. I'm like able to eat and digest food. Like I actually have an appetite. I was so overcome with anxiety, like truly for so many years that it genuinely affected my physical health.
Oh, it did.
Like I could barely get through food because it's like the tightness and just all of the physical symptoms that, like I literally, and I thought there was, I know I have gut and digestion health. I've got like acid reflux. There's scar, like I know I have all these things. So I'm just thinking, oh, it's all the combination of this stuff. I get in this relationship and I'm like, that's weird. I'm like eating food. I like want to eat food and then I eat all of my food.
Yeah.
because my body is like regulating.
Right.
Because I'm in a
relaxing.
safe, happy environment.
Right.
But yeah, he continued to, every opportunity he had, drive down, see me, date me, pursue me, take care of me, respect. I've never opened a door. Even now, like him living in my house, and he's lived there for like a couple months at this point. People are going to be like, this bitch is crazy. She's like anti-dating, and then meet one guy. She's like, move in. Live with me. Yeah, he'll get up from working, and when I have to leave to come record a podcast, and just to go open my car door outside, get up out of his chair in the middle of work and come open my car door. And he's like, the way that he treats me and respects me and like views our relationship, it's such a priority and it's so important to him. And he genuinely treats me like his wife. And because his like rationale is like, I'm dating you. You're my girlfriend because I want you to be my wife. Like, so I'm going to treat you like a husband would treat a wife. And I'm like, shit. Okay. It's a little weird. It's never happened to me before, but I like it. I might feel guilty, but like I like it. And it's like the thing is, it's funny because I've said this to him so many times. I'm like, I do not deserve you. I do not deserve you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I do. And I know that I do
Yeah,
because I know that if he was not doing all of these things, I would be like, I deserve better than this. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to exit until I get what I deserve. So it's this kind of weird duality of feeling like, how did I get this man, you know? And at the same time being like, well, if he wasn't doing all this, I wouldn't be here.
That's trauma.
But you've changed.
Yeah.
So the loving nature coming out of you and the little things she does for him, it's very reciprocated. So she's telling you that one side because he is great and he is awesome and I already love him to pieces. He fits into my family and fits in with her friend group. All of that is great. But like he'll come home from work and she'll go to the refrigerator and go get a cold beer out and just walk out to the truck to meet him and hand him a nice cold beer so he doesn't have to wait to start relaxing. And that just delighted his heart. In fact, I think the first time you did that, the next time I saw him, he said, do you know what your daughter did for me? Because it just touched his heart so much. She keeps the house. She's doing dishes.
That was your other prediction. I do our laundry and dishes.
And laundry.
But, like, for example, he drove me today to meet my mom so that we could drive here. And I told him getting out of the car, I said, I have some laundry and stuff I need to finish when I get home. He said, don't worry about it. Like, I have some stuff I need to do. It's not like he has this expectation that, like, which, like, okay, am I a little, is it giving trad wife a little? Yeah, like it's giving a little trad wife, which I'm okay with. I can't make bread, but like maybe one day.
Today I'm making sourdough.
Sourdough bread. Okay, homemade.
Scratch.
I need to roll the dough.
I went outside and picked the wheat myself.
Yeah, like I'm not there yet, but at this point, I wouldn't be shocked. I never thought I'd do my own dishes, and now I'm doing his.
That's a partnership. Again, like you just said, like you feel safe. And when you feel safe with someone who has put in effort, you want to put in effort because you care for them so much.
You want to bless them back.
And
exactly.
It's like the more he does for me, the more I want to do for him, the more I do for him. I'm sure the more he wants to do for me. Like we went back to his hometown and visited once. I like came in and he had, I guess, yeah, I drove there, right? Yeah, I did that. I don't do that. That's big. I get there and he's got like a bunch of snacks and drinks and anything I wanted from the store with like a note that's just like so heartfelt. And the things that he loves about me, and like obviously we find each other attractive. Obviously he thinks I'm hot. It's because I'm so hot. But like the way that he talks about me is, yeah, he'll tell me, like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. Like, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And I'm like, okay, liar. But, like, I love the way you lie. But that is not why he's with me. It's like every time he compliments me, it is my heart, my empathy, my mind, my wit, my...
Remember the text that she sent me a screenshot of this text, and I don't remember what started it, but I think it was about... I swiped because I saw your face, but I stayed because of your heart or something like that.
Yeah, that was the concept. You know, like your beauty got me, but like
it caught my eye.
Why
but
I'm
here because of your heart.
Yeah. And then another thing that's big for me and that I'm always probably gonna struggle with, or at least have the worry that I will struggle, is my mental health. You know, and not everybody has. I mean, I've been in situations in the past where guys have been like, just be happy, just decide to be happy. You know, like, oh, other people have it worse. This thing happened to me. And people that just don't have the understanding and the empathy, but then also don't even have the desire to try to understand.
Well, if they've not seen it before, they don't really even know what to expect. Somebody that's struggling.
Yeah.
To create space for someone else in that way. And his emotional like capacity and intelligence and depth and like support for me is just insane. Like we've been to third base, guys. He has watched me have a meltdown and like loved me through it.
Yeah.
And just the only thing he cares about is she okay? I just am so grateful for him and the way that he cares for me and loves me and pursues me and wants to make me feel special and beautiful, and still like, you know, wants to take me on cute dates and like can't wait, like wants to spend time with me. I mean, I think both of us too, like all of our friends, for his friends that have known him for years, and then my friends, they're both like, what? His friends are like, you've never been like that, like you want to hang out with her, like you're missing this and this because you'd rather do this. And
he hadn't played golf in 3 months. He didn't want to. I've tried to get him out there. No, I think I'm just going to hang out with Elena. Okay.
He does not have social media. I know everybody's already like listening to this episode and typing his name into my following.
Yeah,
so they can find him. He's not there. Green flag. It's like such a green flag. Like doesn't have a drip of it. Just no social media. I'm like, why? And he was like, well, I had it for a while. It just didn't make me feel better about myself. I was wasting time scrolling on it, comparing myself to other people. Like, what? That doesn't serve me. And I'm like, God, you're so hot. Why are you so mature?
Yeah.
And he is good looking. When she says hot, he's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
He
so
really
hot.
is.
Yeah.
He really is.
All I'm saying is if you want it all, you can have it all and more. So all that to say, I found my man and he's so great and cute and sweet, and we live together, and I've been keeping the secret, and I don't really know why. It's not for any sort. I think like I just
personal.
It's personal, and like he's more of a private person, and so I'm like, isn't that funny? Who you decided to date.
Right.
He's like, I'm just like really private. And I'm like, oh, right. Well, I talk about my poop on the internet. So same, but different. I'm different about it. So like I wanted to like.
I'm private publicly.
Yeah, I kind of like keep all of my private stuff really private in a very public way, where I like announce it to like 250,000 people like daily. You're good with that. Yeah. So I think just out of respect for him and him kind of adjusting to like a new, like his life changed completely too. Like as much as my life changed, like his life really changed. Like
he had to move. He moved.
Now he's in like this whole ass relationship, has to move into a new house that's got like fucking pink titties everywhere. I'm like,
pink everywhere.
Pink everything. I made him a little home office, and he just looks up and it's just lips. I'm like, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about the eat more ass pillow, but I'll redecorate later.
Right.
Yeah, new job, new lifestyle, like new home, and
meeting all new people.
Yeah. So big life changes. And so I think we're just wanted to enjoy our little like beginning of our relationship and not feel like any pressure to have to post something or not. And I'm not, I truly, I feel like a lot of people would assume like, oh, you wanted to make sure that it was going to work before you like went public with it. No, I knew like from the first week, I knew that like that was my husband, which is so weird to say. especially out loud to the 250,000 people aforementioned. But it's not because I was like waiting to make sure. Like I've been sure. But I just wanted to respect like his privacy and his life and let us enjoy us without all the opinions of others. And let him kind of adjust to the fact that I'm just me. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to like hook onto, to just be like, yeah, I'll deal with that for the rest of my life. So I feel like I needed to give him like a processing phase.
Right. Let him get used to it.
Yeah. But I mean, I could truly go on and on about how wonderful he is and how well he treats me and like the little things he does for me daily to the big things he goes out of his way to do for me. And I mean that like I've been
did
like
you
kicking
tell him?
my feet in here. Like,
kitty girl.
So cute. What about when you went to the store to go get your medicine? Did you tell that?
Okay, yeah. So here's a little dating mishap.
This is so cute.
It's I mean, it all worked out for the greater good because my man fixed it for me. But I,
a typical Elena.
God, it's so me of me to do. So I'm like, I'm not feeling good. I'm sick. And so I'm like, okay, I need to go to the store and buy medicine.
And this was kind of early on too, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. This was like, but probably before we were official or right at the beginning of being official. And I'm getting sick. So like, it's back again. But I go to the store to get medicine, like just to get medicine, guys. And what do I get at the store? I got crescent rolls. I got pepperoni. I got cheese sticks. I got coffee creamer, like I got some ice cream. I got some paper plates. I got no medicine, not one medicine. Nothing that is even, I didn't go to the medicine aisle.
You got medicine for your soul.
Yeah, I did.
Ice cream.
Yeah,
ice cream. I did. And actually, you're right. That is a form of medicine, at least for me. And I realize it when I get back out in the car and I like call Zach and I'm like, I did something silly. And he's like, Elena, like just go back inside. He thought I was like already home. He's like, just go back. Like it's not far. I literally could walk to this store if I want. I would never would, but I could if I needed to. And I'm like, no, here's the thing. I'm like still in the parking lot. And he's like, go back inside. And I'm like, no, now I'm ashamed. Now I'm ashamed because it's late at night and it's not like the store is popping. All these people are going to see I was just in here, buying like supplies for DIY pizza rolls, but now I'm back in here, buying Mucinex. Like I'm just embarrassed. Me, embarrassed to do that. Like I talk about my poop online, but I like can't go back into a store because I forgot something. Like, oh no.
What will they think?
What will they think of me? Like, bitch, they're probably not going to think about you at all.
Oh my goodness,
ultimately,
she's back.
What? Explain this. Like, it's not that weird to forget something at the store. But I also like didn't feel good, so I just like didn't want to get back out of my car and like do the whole thing again. So I just go home and I'm like, it's fine. Like I'll take an Advil, I'll get medicine tomorrow. This man Uber Eats me like all the medicines, just one of everything, at late at night from hours away. And I'm like, God, like I was the idiot. And then I also could have gone back inside and gotten medicine, but instead you're paying for a delivery fee and paying for the medicine that I just actively was too lazy to walk back in the store and get. Why? Because I was sick and I needed the medicine. And that was more important than the fact that I was unwilling to go back into the store for the medicine.
So sweet.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he's just sweet and precious and I just love him. I like am in love with him. What? Mom.
Hello, VE.
Well, I love him too.
A magic manifester over here.
I did a good job.
What do y'all want? I'll have my mom say it in a microphone.
Right.
Send in your manifestation request for Eugenia.
Please do.
Need a new job? Let us know. Really want to win that divorce? Tell me about it. Send an email. But yeah, that's the big news, big secret I've been keeping from y'all. But and honestly, I say this. I say I have this big secret, this big thing I have to reveal. And like I've kind of already posted about him. So the people that like actively pay attention, the misfits,
pictures.
it's something I would call like a soft launch. Like there's some implications that I might have a man in my life or that I might be dating someone because like maybe there's a cowboy boot just right next to my shoe and there's a man's hairy arm behind that glass of wine I just took a picture of. So I was like tossing y'all little teasers. So it's not like I haven't implied that I'm dating someone, but this is now the hard launch. This is like the hard official. We're Facebook official, guys. I'm status update in a relationship with Zach.
He is very much mom approved. My whole family approved, but certainly mom approved because she was sharing how she's sleeping better and she's eating better and she's doing. Well, so am I. So am I because literally, think about it. She's been alone for a long time, and basically, it's just me, pretty much, that helps her out when things are hard or when things are great. You know, I get to do it all, but just to have the peace in my heart to know that she's not alone. And that she has somebody over there that's loving her and caring for her and taking care of her. And she's doing that back. And I see the happiness. And it's like, certainly mom approved and I'm loving it.
Something that I didn't like specifically mention on last week's podcast where we were talking about Lily Girl is another thing that I'm grateful for timing wise is just that this did happen when I have a full-time support. You know, like obviously I have my mom and that's unconditional and she's never not going to support me, but to have like my partner and my person and like living with me in my home so that I, you know, I don't feel so alone in my home as much as I would if, you know, we weren't together there and that we hadn't already established a norm of him being in the house. And so, Lily did just get me through all of my reality TV bullshit, all of my depressive mental health episodes afterwards, waited until she approved this man. And then she's like, all right, I'm done with this shit. I'll see y'all on the other side. I know you're good now, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go play with Jesus. Y'all continue to endure life. Now that I know you're healed and you are protected and taken care of. I just choose to believe that that's how it went down.
Well, it makes sense. It really does.
But yeah, to just another gratitude of the timing of everything and the way that, you know, God allowed things to happen and make sure that I have Zach. And I realized around this time last year that I wasn't getting any younger. And I did envision my future looking a certain type of way, being a wife, being a mother, living on land, having animals, like, you know, living like a purposeful, peaceful life. And then I examined my behaviors. I'm like, oh, what am I doing to get that? I'm dancing topless on yachts in Europe. I'm like, you know, partying. I'm 33 and like, this is my behavior pattern. How is that going to lead me to the life I want? So I started, even though I had grown a lot in like what I would allow a man to do or treat me or whatever, like I had to also realize if I want to attract this type of man, I have to be this type of woman. Like if I'm going to have the man that I am desiring and that I'm praying for, then I have to be the kind of woman that kind of man wants. If that makes sense.
It does. And it was beautifully said.
Yeah.
Just a little church.
Little church.
Yeah, a little bit of church.
You're
Liking
welcome.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
Elena,
And now I'm a pastor too. Didn't you also predict that?
Leading Bible studies.
Leading Bible study? Well, that's
I'm
what
pretty
I just
sure that
did.
was one of them.
That's what I just did. I just led Bible study. I'm doing the dishes and I
did.
have a boyfriend.
Wow.
So cute of us.
it's so cute of you. Well, it's interesting because that was our first episode. And what
Mm-hmm.
is this, Elena?
This is our finale episode. So it all comes full circle, folks. Episode 1 of this season, Eugenia's out here. You're going to get a man. You're going to do chores. You're going to, you know.
Lead Bible study.
And then here I am, last episode of the season, doing chores. Got a boyfriend. Taking y'all to church.
Take us to church.
So, man,
Bravos.
ain't God
Bravo.
a waymaker? Ain't he a waymaker?
I
Always
love
so
God
good.
will make a way.
I love it.
If you
love that.
believe that God will make a way, he'll make a way.
He will.
Just have a
He
little
wants
faith.
to. He wants
Just
to.
chat with him. Tell him what you're interested in. Tell him what you want to do. Tell him what you want. Thank him for what you have.
That's
also,
right.
is the other thing, you know?
Heart of gratitude.
I think, and I've said this before on the podcast, but where it's easy to always look at the future and not be look at the past where you desired what you have now, So yeah, have a heart of gratitude, but also like just be in communication with the Lord. Tell him what's up. Hey, how's it going? And also like, do you mind if I could please have like, this in a partner?
Right.
And then pray for, because God is a way maker. He'll make the way if you let him.
Yeah. And pray for yourself too to improve and change and do the
to
things
be ready
you need
for
to
the
do.
blessing.
To be ready for the blessing.
Yeah, you can manifest and pray for all the things, but then believe that it's going to happen and then start praying that you're going to be ready for that blessing when it does come to you.
Yep.
Because I had to be ready for Zach.
Yep. You did.
I had to be ready. And I was, and you know what? Here's another thing. I'll leave y'all on this. It's not like I'm a perfect person, and it's not like he's a perfect person, and it's not like I'm completely healed and I am like, end all be all. Like I am still healing and still growing and still, trying to be a better version of myself. And I think it may seem like I'm saying like you need to be the best version of yourself before you're worthy of your person. I think, there's so many things in moving parts in all of this, but like if it's the right person and y'all have both made that effort and that's your intention to continue to grow, like if anything, you will heal and grow and improve faster with the right person, encouraging you to do so and supporting you to do so. So it's like I feel confident that we're on a like bettering ourselves journey together, and it's not like he has expectations for me to be perfect, but he expects me to continue to want to be better.
Yeah.
And so we just love each other through life, like it works when it's right.
Someone who loves you wants you to be better, and they want to be better for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just easy. It's like, not everything is easy, but when it's right, it's just so easy. When like I'm just filled with peace and joy and love from him. I just am sure it's just right.
I'm sure. Didn't I tell you that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am so happy for you.
Yay.
So cute.
So you just can't ever give up, when things are dark and deep. You just have to hang on because there is blessings waiting for you. It is coming to you. You just keep walking through it, and you're going to get to that other side, and then, wow, the sun's going to shine and the rainbow's going to be in the sky, and it's going to be beautiful again. And because we're going to go through hard times and we're going to go through good times, but you just have to keep going.
When people say, and I love the semantics here because it's like, oh man, I'm really going through it. Oh, I'm going through a hard time. Notice the word there. You already said you're going through. You have, in order to get to somewhere else, you have to go through. It's not like I'm stuck in this. I'm, like that. Everything is a season and a temporary time.
Right.
So like even when you're saying I'm really going through something. Yeah, you have to go through it to get to the other side. If you want to be on the other side, just keep going through it. Not saying that's easy. There's still words and
it's still hard.
And it's still hard. And I went through months of like despair, and it's like for somebody not knowing is a curse and a blessing at the same time, because my life could change the next day or it could be another 3 months. And that's painful. But like if you just choose to not give up and realize that the going through it pretty much guarantees you're going to get to the other side because you're going through something. You gotta go through something to get somewhere. Then, you have enough faith to struggle and to survive before you get to like the other side where things are
better,
are a celebration again.
Happiness again.
So it's, just don't give up and
don't give up.
Raise your standards and tell your friends about my podcast.
Yeah, Elena, you want to plug everything before we head out of here?
Yeah, look at that. Another successful season of the MiscELENaeous podcast. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a hand.
We'll join you.
Thank you. This is also a hand for producer Madelyn. Everybody listening.
You have the best team.
We couldn't do it without everyone's involvement. I'm so grateful that this is my life and my job. And we will be back. But we plan to have some cute little fun surprises for y'all along the way. So you're not just like, you don't have to miss me for too terribly long. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. But in the meantime, make sure that you are following along on Instagram at Elena Davies, at MiscELENaeous Podcast. Check out the YouTube, There's a ton of content available. If you're not one that has listened to quite literally every episode from the beginning, guess what?
Jump back.
Yeah, just rewind.
Mm-hmm.
Again, roll that beautiful bean footage back because we've got content for days. And yeah, I still got
merch.
I still got merch that y'all can purchase and represent your
misfitness.
Your misfitness. Oh, I was going to say that too.
Were you?
Yeah, I was, which is weird because that's not a thing.
We haven't said it before.
And it makes it sound like you're like Miss Fitness, and that's really not the brand.
Oh, yeah, through that.
How cute,
But that's kind of
It could
cute.
be cute.
That's kind of cute. I launch a whole new athleisure line.
Yeah,
Miss
fitness
Fitness.
wear.
I'm sorry, but how cute you could do like a whole 80s
like 80s workout Barbie.
Yes.
Gosh, new merch dropping soon. Yep. But yeah, we're going to take some time to continue to work on the podcast, do some other ideas, launch and drop more merch. So yeah, just keep following along on Instagram. Yeah. We'll keep posting fun stuff. And I'm excited for another season of the MiscELENaeous podcast. So y'all stay the fuck tuned. And I will see you on a future Tuesday.
Yay. Awesome.
Yay.
We did it. Oh my goodness.
Great job, baby.
Yay Networks.